Welcome back. We've got another review. This time it's the Glock 19X from Umarex. Show you the box there. The Glock 19X came about because the real steel version came about because the US Army was touting for a new service pistol. Sig Sauer, Glock, everyone else put it together, put their new service pistol ideas together, put it to the US Army. Sig Sauer won. The word is that Sig Sauer won because the cost was 2 Glocks to 1 Sig Sauer. Apparently, I don't know, I've just heard. But anyway, we're here to review the airgun version. So here it is. As ever, I love it. It's a Glock. I won't hide the fact that I love Glocks. I love the way they look. I love the way they feel. These are just air guns though. Here's the magazine. You've got CO2 loads in there. You've got your BBs that load in the magazine. And then it's ready to fire. Cock it. This is not loaded obviously. And then you're ready to fire. But we'll go through that in a little second. I'm just here to show you what it looks like, then we'll show you what it fires like, and then I'll let you know what I think of it. So, without further ado, let's take a closer look at the pistol, and then we'll get it in the back garden and start firing at some targets. So here we are, up close and personal. Isn't it a beauty? Got all the markings on the slide, the grip and frame. Slide catch. Nice. Love that little clunk. So we've got a rail on the front to attach accessories like your torch, laser and torch. Other side of the slide we've got the marking serial number. Usually on Glocks you've got the serial number there as well. And that is the main safety. I've been testing this over the last few days, folks, prior to filming the review, so I'm not just going to give you a quick haphazard. So I'm using the little notch on the end of that to flick that forwards and backwards because, to be perfectly honest, my thumbs and fingers are far too fat to reach inside there, and my nails are far too short to catch it as well. So a little notch on the end of this, primarily it's used to tighten and loosen the CO2 inside the magazine, but one use I've found for this little notch is the main safety. This is imperative, by the way, folks. Glocks have trigger safeties, they usually work very well. This is an airgun replica, so don't trust it completely. It looks aesthetically brilliant, but if you just look inside there and you see that moving part, I'm talking about just here. So as you can see, it barely catches the frame, and if we just release the slide forwards, I'm not going to touch the safety, I'm just going to hold the trigger itself. Oh, we've left the safety on the bottom. Let's just flick that forwards. So you can see it doesn't catch. So aesthetically it looks brilliant. There's your mag release, which is usually ambidextrous, but it's just rarely for the right-handed shooter. So left-handed shooters will be a little bit annoyed at that, but not to be too annoyed. Once you start shooting it, you'll have a lot of fun. We're going to shoot it in a sec. We're just going to load the CO2 next, and then we'll get it out shooting. There we go. Let's load the CO2 in before we take it in the garden for a plink. So you slide this forwards like so. Your CO2 will drop in. Now I use a little bit of Palgon oil when I'm loading a CO2 capsule. Let me put a little dab on. It just maintains the integrity of the seal up here and make sure it doesn't dry out, so we'll just drop that in there. and tighten her up. So let's go. Usually a bit quicker than that, but I'm doing this through looking at my camera, so there you go, it's loaded. When you're popping this back down, just be careful, it can get a little bit sticky, so gently does it. There you go, pop back down. Let's get out and do some shooting. This part takes a while with my fat fingers, so I'll join you outside. Right, we're in the garden, we've put a target 8 yards away and we're going to do our best to shoot as accurately as we can. I'm not the best shot in the world with these pistols, but I'm certainly good enough to figure out whether this is accurate or not. So we'll give it a go. Safety goggles first. Let's go. So that was okay, wasn't it? Wasn't the worst grip in the world, but I could certainly get better if I tried. Usually when you put a fresh CO2 into a CO2 gun, your first magazine's more than likely going to be a little bit erratic, so I'm going to have another go. We'll put a fresh target out and we'll have a go with a second target just so we can compare those two together. See you soon. There you go, that was much better, that one, wasn't it? Bit of a tighter group there, so usually first mag out of a fresh CO2, usually a little bit of erratic. But there you go, second one, much happier with that. So I'm going to have a few more magazines playing out here, shooting some chalk discs and cans and messing about. I'll see you back in the cave and we'll finish it up. Well, we're back in the cave, under the stairs. You might hear some running up and down the stairs. We're still in lockdown in the UK and the kids are still off school. While we're on that subject though, here it is. This thing's kept me and the lads busy in between our homeschooling, of course, and at weekends. In the sunshine in the back garden, we've had so much fun with this, shooting at some cans. There's a fun video coming out on the channel featuring this pistol with me lads in the garden having some fun and some reactive targets, so check it out. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and have a look at that video when it comes out in a couple of days. That's so much fun. It's exactly as I expected, really. The accuracy isn't pellet on pellet or BB on BB, but it's never going to be with a CO2 blowback pistol, is it? If you're buying one of these, don't expect it to be bang on every single time. exactly where you're aiming. There's a slight variation, you know, it uses a lot of CO2 in blowing the slide back for your aesthetic pleasure. But yeah, it's exactly as I expected. The only qualm I picked up, or I don't think it's a bad point, so to speak, but we spoke about the trigger safety earlier on in the video, and that it was barely catching up the top here. If you looked in there, it was barely catching up the top, and I was saying about, you know, treat this as your main safety. Well, that's imperative, that is your main safety. I think that's only being put there for aesthetic pleasure, you know, to make it look and function a lot more like the real steel. They got the official license to produce these, so they were going to go as far as they can. But yeah, that's your safety, and that's the best safety that you can use anyway. Don't put your finger on the trigger until you're pointed at your target and you're ready to shoot. But I'm sure you know that, I'm not teaching you to suck eggs. Other than that, it's been exactly as I expected. The accuracy was, you know, there or thereabouts where I wanted. I improved my shooting during the video. But the reason I buy any of these type of pistols is just because they look cool. You know, this is officially licensed, got all the Glock markings, the detailing they've went into with the serial numbers and the tiny little Glock logos here on the ejection port. It's all brilliant, and that's the reason why I buy it. But I've had loads of fun in the garden with it, so if you're after something to have a load of fun with in the back garden and shoot at some cans and have fun with some targets, some reactive targets, something like this is definitely for you. So check it out in your local RFD, and thanks a lot for John Rothery Wholesale for lending me the gun and letting me have a go. See you soon, folks.